I used to think that Shangri-La was just a luxury hotel brand. And then Lu told me that it's actually a real city, nestled in the Himalayas not too far from our home. Before I boarded my flight to Shangri-La, I knew that we were in for some high-altitude hiking challenges. It shares the same language, religion and culture as other regions in the Himalayan belt, like Tibet and Nepal. I was really excited to experience the local culture and learn about the history and religion of this place. Meeting the people, physically challenge myself and take in the grand scale of the landscape, and tasting the food that carries the flavors of this mystical land. In Tibetan culture, Tibetan Buddhism and the harsh yet beautiful highland geography have shaped a unique language, art and customs. It is a culture that is rooted in spirituality and in harmony with nature. The Songtsanle Monastery, also known as the Little Patala Palace, is a winter palace for the Dalai Lama. This monastery resembles the larger Tibetan monasteries that were built in the 1600s and are where the Dalai Lama normally resides in the warmer months. Songtsanle Monastery is an architectural masterpiece with the 6 main structures and 8 colleges all nestled together on a hill slope.
Prayer flags, normally they will have 5 colors: blue, white, red, green, yellow, and each of them they signify sky, cloud, fire, river, and earth. As we walk up the monastery's central path, all design follows Mandela principles. The main hall represents the center of the universe. In Tibetan Buddhism, everything is connected, and you can see that idea reflected in the way this place is built. Inside, well stunned by the colors, the walls are covered in Thangka paintings, each one telling a story about their beliefs, their philosophy, their history. These are not just decorations. They hold deep meaning, helping monks and priests meditate, reflect, and learn about life. Tibetan people believe that all living things have a spirit. For generations, nomads have lived with the seasons, living in harmony with nature and caring for the land. But things are changing. Modern life is creeping in. This old man tells us he worked at the horse farm so his children can go to school. He remembers when the land was untouched. Now, tourists come to camp, but leave their trash behind, ruining the beauty he has known all his life.
Here we are standing outside the hotel that we stayed in last night, getting ready for our 20-kilometer hike today. We're all packed up, ready to go, and I wouldn't even call it sun. The light is just coming up over the mountains. It's drizzling slightly, and then there's a nice layer of clouds just kind of sitting on the top of the mountains. Because it's drizzling, if it stays this way, we might end up quite wet at the end of the day, so we'll see how we go.
Over here you'll see a couple of yaks having a yak about that yak. He just yacked and he's telling his mates. Yeah, that was a terrible one, sorry. But we are 400 meters up from where we started, 2.5 hours in, 8.6 Ks, 4,000 meters. elevation. We're about a quarter of the way, supposedly. Just finished lunch and continuing on. So now you get to see some of the journey.
Hiking is tough, but halfway up, we found a little rest spot where the locals offered us butter tea. It's made from brick tea, yak butter, and salt. It's an energy drink perfected by the Tibetan people to endure the harsh mountain climate.
So now we are starting the final ascent to the peak that is known as Desperate Hill, I think. It's a 1 kilometer walk, and there's quite a bit of ascent from what I'm told. Oh goody. Let's go, baby, let's go. Yes, yes. 4,402 meters. 853 meters of ascent, 4 hours 15, 14.3 kilometers.
Our hike started in the fog and cloud at about 3,700 meters or 12,000 feet above sea level. We started ascending almost immediately and kept going for about an hour in the rain and the mud. We leveled off at about 3,900 meters. The ponchos and decathlon hiking boots were being tested, and so far holding up pretty well in the rain and the mud. At about the 2-hour mark, we started climbing again and ascended out to the top of the rain and the fog. The climb was pretty steady for the next 2 hours, all the way up to 4,400 meters. The last 45 minutes of climb was nearing my physical limit. I had a persistent dull headache from the lack of oxygen. Our guide, however, was practically running between the different tour groups. His acclimation to this altitude was pretty cool. What goes up must come down, and after admiring the top and taking a break, we started descending, but taking a different path. We were jumping and hopping between creeks, falling over trees and rocks.
Tibetan cuisine is not just about the food, it's also about the survival and the wisdom. In this cold, high-altitude land, they rely on high-calorie, warming foods for strength. Protein is also a challenge at this height. Not just any animal can survive here, but yaks can. They provide meat, milk, wool, and even labor. After our hike, we had a yak hot pot to nourish our exhausted bodies. Highland barley, also called qingke, is a key crop here. One of the few grains that can survive at this altitude. It's made into beer, pancakes, and even qingke wine. Take one sip, and you are guaranteed to feel warm and happy. You probably never know, Shangri-La is also a wine region. If you see a number on the Shangri-La wine labels, that is the altitude where the grapes were grown for this bottle of the wine. This is our journey. We experience, we connect with the nature, people, and food.